Hello and welcome to Raising Your Isness. This is Raisa. Thank you for being here. To learn more about one-on-one multidimensional energy healing sessions with me, channeling your guides, or browse through the shop with crystal bracelets, and to enjoy a variety of material on this channel, browse through the playlists. Enjoy! In this video, we're going to speak to Neville Goddard, or the being who just finished his incarnation as Neville. It's been a while, so he's been coming through a few times, and I finally sat down and had a chat with him. Again, very strongly, he continues to emphasize how important it is to take your power back, to have a very strong relationship with yourself. It is basically the main topic of anyone who is genuinely interested in you, from ascended masters, angelics, holy scriptures. Pick whatever it is that is of that benevolence. It always encourages you to be strong from within. The message first starts with sharing his message, and then I ask a couple of questions. So here we go. We begin by looking inward of our inner self-growth. While knowing what is the most vital for us, we frequently search for validation from what we see as other. You must confront the voice in the mind which contradicts and causes complaints, rumors, and undefined stories from people who have no clue why this is happening. You turn your vision outside of yourself, thinking to find solution to your internal dilemmas. Well, how can that be? Do you know that you are the one to know the answer to what you are asking? In the Gospel of John 10, Jesus says, "I and my Father are one." Can we then agree that God became man so that man can become God? Through the process of clearing your restrictive thoughts and understanding that you are not the one battling this grand war on your minds, you may release the control grip and let what needs to happen unfold. You are here for a reason, your reconciliation, your unfoldment. The world is yours, your world, that is. For you see, battling someone in their world does not work or help anyone. You must keep creating your world in order to see changes in your outer world. Beyond the comprehension of this lies the truth that all are one. All is one, educating itself into something through the dreamer, or as I call it, imagination. The one who imagines is the one in the game of his imagination. Otherwise, it makes no sense. It is not fun to not participate. The organisms in the body interact, so do worlds or realities. They meld together and fall away at times, which means when you use your wonderful human imagination, you ought to remember that the bigger one who is imagining you now has got you. You are never alone in this. You are projected and taught. Also, you teach the one who is imagining through your mistakes and milestones. That's a nice way to collaborate, isn't it? Whom can you trust if not the self who has the powers to change your day? When we approach the dawn of the ages, where all will be aware that the machine is taking over human thought, there will still be a beautiful horizon with the sunrise. This might be the only natural occurrence of the day, yet you still have time to either speed it up or slow it down. Humanity is at the point of major choice: death of the soul work or everlasting life. We then are mourning the losses to the machine, something we couldn't even imagine was possible. Is that a paradox? So then I got really confused by this message, and I ask, who is dreaming to be taken over by a machine? It should be no surprise that it is introduced to all areas of life, from business to recreation to education, entertainment, relationships, and even raising your own children. And sadly to say, it all started when we said yes to the television and telephones. What you are giving power to gains power. When his message got to this point, I had to ask this question. So how can we apply our imagination when the system is creating its own new world artificially? This is his answer. Did you hear me say, giving power? Look at everyone now, glued to their phones all day, to their couches all evening, not enjoying work, waiting to get off to be on the devices. That which is made of plastic, glass, and metal has your heart and mind, and it doesn't even cook you a meal. My next question. Then what can you possibly say to someone who isn't even aware? This is his answer. You have to understand that it was told to you decades ago in your movies that you ought to use these machines and then create fear so that it takes the civilization to the end. And every generation at that time knew what means robot, or your new AI robot movie, iRobot. Could this be a prophecy? Not at all. It took decades to this point because it requires your consent, giving up your voice, your power, and yourself. Needs grooming because it is unnatural, hence your artificial intelligence. All the answers are there in the open. It is like your horse's blind spot, right in front of your nose, or hiding in the plain sight. Then I ask, so in this case, according to the rule of imagination, there are those who imagine this, and if God is the one who imagines, why would aspect of God want to attack another aspect of God? This is the answer. What if it isn't? When the boss catches his workers slacking, taking long breaks, skipping important tasks, doesn't the boss take measures? Those who understand get to work realizing this wouldn't have happened if they did the work in the first place. The arrogant ones would hate the boss, calling him a tyrant. So does your reality. Those who hear the call of polarities respond according to their intention. But from top to bottom, it is all observed and watched by none other than Christ. He refers to the scriptures again. Hebrews 4:13 states, "And there is no creature hidden from his sight, but all things are naked and open to the eyes of him, to whom we must give account." Then he refers to Matthew 25:14-30. This is Jesus' parable about the kingdom of heaven. "For it is just like a man about to go on a journey, who called his own slaves and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his own ability. And he went on his journey. Immediately the one who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them, and gained 5 more talents. In the same manner, the one who had received the 2 talents gained 2 more. But he who received the 1 talent went away, and dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's talent. Now after a long time the master of those slaves came and settled accounts with them. The one who had received the 5 talents came up and brought 5 more talents, saying, Master, you entrusted 5 talents to me. See, I have gained 5 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Also the one who had received the 2 talents came up and said, Master, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have gained 2 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. And the one also who had received the 1 talent came up and said, Master, I knew you'd be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. And I was afraid, and went away, and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours. But his master answered and said to him, You wicked, lazy slave, you knew that I reap where I did not sow, and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have put my talent to work, and on my arrival I would have received my earnings back with interest. Therefore take away the talent from him, and give it to the one who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has, more shall be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who does not have, even what he does have shall be taken away. Throw out the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is another example that Neville recommended to read, Matthew 13:24-30, and it is also about the kingdom of heaven. Jesus presented another parable to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went away. But when the wheat sprouted and bore grain, then the tares became evident also. The slaves of the landowner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? And he said to them, An enemy has done this. The slaves said to him, Do you want us then to go and gather them up? But he said, No, for while you are gathering up the tares, you may uproot the wheat with them. Allow both to grow together until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, First gather up the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them up, but gather the wheat into my barn. Neville says, By these examples you clearly understand it is no joke, no easy task, yet not something to play around with. Connection to your soul is like free will, can only be improved or corrupted by you, consciously or unconsciously, as you like to say. We are approaching the making of the decision, and I'd like to leave you all this message. When all is done, no one is at fault. Whether your plans work out or they don't, it is a continuous stretch of time, decisions, actions, results that go on and on. But don't be frightened when you hear the news of unfortunate events. Keep your vigilance and draw your own conclusions. Anything out there can be a hypothetical opinion, but when given attention and more fuel, becomes your reality. So, dear ones, listen to your intuitive feelings. They will direct you what, where, and when is good for you or stagnating for you. Your energy centers never lie. Listen to them, because as I've discovered many times over, the feeling is the secret. We all bid you peace, and if you had a fraction of our faith, you'd be in a better place. Okay, so this is what he wanted to share. To be honest, it was intense, and it felt like a warning message. He does not sugarcoat. If you know Neville and his material, you know he's straight up. He'll say it like it is. And there's been a few of the beings that said to be careful with the messages that make you sleep even more, because there is a way to make you numb, and there is a way to keep yourself alert. Not as a nervous alert, but as a sovereign being. So there is a big difference in this spirituality, in your inner work, when you think about it. It is strongly advised to pray every day. It is strongly advised to not just use your law of attraction manifestation techniques, but sincerely use your abilities to co-create a happy life for yourself and others. Not just for you, what you want to manifest, that is all over social media, steps and how-tos to manifest for you. But what about others? We are a part of the collective. We're not gonna be happy if the collective is suffering. And the collective won't be happy if a fraction of it is suffering. This is why this world is where it is now. Which means it's not a selfishly manifesting something for yourself and for your life. It is for the whole civilization, what we want to see in totality. Everyone happy, at peace, at ease. As always, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comment. And if you need to reach me, I will leave the email and all the information in the description below. Have a blessed day. Talk to you soon.